Welcome back to Politics HQ and News Central Television, and we're discussing the theft of critical national assets, such as in the last 48 hours, it was reported that the expansion joints from the newly built second Niger Bridge, I beg your pardon, was stolen. There's also reports of the lights at a runway at the Lagos airport being stolen, and in the past we've heard of vandalism of railway tracks and critical assets. Now, joining us for this discussion is Dennis Amachree, a security expert. He joins us live from New York City in the United States of America. Now, Mr. Amachree, what factors do you believe have contributed to the troubling trend of Nigerians stealing public infrastructure? Can you elaborate on any specific circumstances or reasons behind such behavior? And a warm welcome to you.
Thank you very much. In fact, when you were speaking with Shigu, your former guest here, I was actually laughing because it reminds me of my friend, Michelle Arong, a British lady whom I met in London some time ago, and she had to autograph her book that she wrote.
It's Our Turn to Eat.
Yes, it's our turn to eat. It's our turn to eat. So, and she told me one thing. She said, look, there is, if we remove all the names of the major people in this book, I can replace them with Nigerian names and the book will still be the same thing. There will be no change in that book. And that is a very sad story of Africans. You know, I don't know whether it is because of, you know, in a way it is tribal, and at the same time it is, it goes beyond tribe. And I think like in Nigerian case, from many years of analyzing this particular situation, I think it is poverty. Poverty, that's where I see it, you know, and it permeates from the bottom all the way down to the government house, you know, where the other day, you remember, the River State governor came out to say that even spoons were taken away from the government house. But it is not after a regime. You know, this particular attitude or habit of Nigerians happens even when the government is in power. You know, it's like, I don't know what to call it, but you for instance, you are staying in a hotel. You are staying in a 5-star hotel or 4-star hotel where they give you extra towels and all soaps and, you know, stuff like that. And people come to visit you. And after the visit and they leave, and then you discover that some of the things, including toilet papers, are gone. You know, so what is it exactly? Is it poverty? I don't think it's poverty, because the attitude where people have to realize that this thing is for public use. It's not for individual pockets or individual use. I think
it could also be poverty of the mind. Yes.
You are very correct. It could be poverty of the mind, where, you know, anytime you see, or greed also, you know. I have a friend when we were doing our youth corps, and, you know, we will be walking. We don't have cars, but when cars drive by, and he'll say, "Oh, I'm going to get this car very soon," you know. So you don't think of the work that is going to be put in before you get the car, but you are just hoping that you get it.
Yes.
And immediately you work anywhere, then you feel that it's your turn now to get it.
Now, Mr. Amachree, how would you assess the overall impact of stolen vandalize public infrastructure, Nigeria's development and progress? And are there examples of instances where these incidents have had a significant negative consequence? What's the overall, your overall assessment of this?
Okay, you see, for public infrastructure, for instance, the one that comes to mind very, very easily is the bridges. Third Mainland Bridge, I remember very well, and you see people removing the rails, and we have to arrest some people. And during the interrogation, then I was in service, and what they told us was actually they now transform that rail, that silver thing on the rail, and make it into spoons. And those spoons are used for like party, where they cook party jollof, those big mighty pots. And that's the kind of spoon that they use, in cooking their.
But what sort of mentality makes a citizen, damage critical national assets that have safety implications for millions and thousands of road users just because
Yeah.
you see, you want to make spoons? It's quite shocking.
Yeah, because you see, when the ordinary person sees these things, they don't see them as public property that is supposed to, help in our safety or security. They see it as nobody's, that's the mentality. Government property is nobody's property. And as long as we can take it, there's nobody will cry, nobody will lament that they've stolen my property, and there is no repercussions. Somebody took it, he used it for spoons. Tomorrow, he's making money, nobody arrests him, and then I will go and take my own too. So it's this mentality, poverty of the mind that we are still dealing with. And then, of course, when you talk of airlines,
And that brings me to this question, Mr. Amachree, just before, because we want to move into aviation now and other critical national assets that, restricted facilities, things that have national security implication that you shouldn't just be able to walk in. But we still see incidents like the theft of airfield ground lighting systems, road features that you just talked about, and also rail lines. These are national assets. We've talked about the motivation and the factors that might be driving these perpetrators, but what are security agencies doing about this incidents? Because they're coming too embarrassing, and we've seen incidents of this one or two times too many.
Thank you very much for this question. I used to be in charge of the SSS in Mauritania Mohammed Airport, and there is a committee, a security committee, where we discovered that, in our meeting, we discovered that some of the lighting systems are being removed by people, and that is happening in the area that is supposed to be a no-go area for even passengers or even workers, because the airport is segmented into a situation where you have a restricted area, you have public area, you have a restricted area, you have area that only security workers can go there. You have areas where airport workers can only go there and stuff like that. And then a committee was set up for us to check, to see what's happening. And we went out to check, and you will not believe it. The airport is not secured at all. The airport is not secured at all because there are farmers who are farming along the runway. We have had situations where, when planes come to take off, they slow down and they are standing in line waiting for the control tower to tell them which one to take
Yes.
off and which one to wait. And thieves come out from the bush, open the cargo bay, and then take out some luggages, close it, and then run back inside again. We have to put some security measures in place where even the Federal Aviation Authority security, have to be patrolling with soldiers to make sure that this does not happen. But you see, we are not able to address it properly because the address is not to pursue those guys. To address that particular problem, you need what security professionals called, crime prevention by environmental design. The environment has to be designed in such a way that you prevent the crime by discouraging anybody.
And how do you do that?
I give you an example. If you've been to London Heathrow, except you are carried by bus into the airport, you will not, or you are driving into the airport and there is parking area for you, you cannot park on the road. Even if you park on the road, you cannot get into the runway. It is so designed that there are walls, there are barbed wire fences, all the way down to the terminal building before you can come out and enter the terminal building. And when you are in the terminal building, there are places that you cannot even go. They are not designed to be guarded by human beings. They are designed to be locked up so that you must have the key to even open that particular place to go in. So there are areas, the restricted areas are very clear. You cannot reach there, because of the way the airport is built. Even if you go there and start climbing the walls, somebody is going to see you.
So there's a deliberate planning even in the architecture and the building.
Exactly.
Yes.
The architecture is deliberately planned. And that's why we call it crime prevention through environmental design. Crime prevention through environmental design. You cannot, beat that particular structure.
Now, yes. Go on, please.
Yeah, in Nigeria, the airports are not designed like that. They are not designed like that. If you go, you see mistress, even in the public area, the lobby where people are checking in their
harassment. Yes.
Yes. You see people just milling around. I remember just 2 years ago, I went to the airport, and I saw one guy, who has been a miscreant long time ago. We've arrested him so many times, handed him over to the police. He's still there. He's still in the airport. Why? I looked at him and I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "This is where we live. And there are many of them like that. Some of them believe that they are well connected to some people, especially when you have these body changers, Burundi changes and all those kind of stuff. They stay there, they live there, 24 hours. And you don't allow that kind of thing. If we are going to have Burundi changes, we have the certified ones that are going to be there.
That are in the terminal building, yes.
Yeah, milling around outside the airport should be cleared out.
Now, Mr. Amachree, are there any existing policies or initiatives or collaborations between government bodies, law enforcement agencies, and local communities aimed at deterring individuals from stealing public infrastructure?
Well, one thing I know is that there is a security committee airport security committee that is supposed to meet every Monday morning. And I don't know whether they are still holding their meetings, but they cannot be allowing these things to happen. The communities that are living near to the airport, they've already talked to them. They've told them that those farms cannot continue to exist there. Those farms cannot continue to exist there. So the best thing is for them to relocate. Fences were built, but the contractor did a very shoddy job because apparently it does not even know the parameters with which airport fences are supposed to be built. And some people go and cut the fences, and you can see that the integrity of the fence is being compromised. So you are building airports all over the place, opening airports, putting lights on the runway. People steal these lights on the runway. Trains, we've talked about railways. People try to go and steal the rail, the bars.
It's quite unfortunate and embarrassing. Now, Mr. Amachree, final question, if you can, in 60 seconds, for want of time. Considering the severity of the problem, do you believe there's a need for stricter penalties or legislation targeting individuals engaged in the theft and vandalism of public infrastructure?
I don't know if there are laws in Nigeria about this, including government houses. In the United States, if you steal any government property, if it is below $1,000, you go in for 1 year imprisonment.
Wow.
If it is above $1,000 or up to $10,000, you go for prison. You go into prison for 10 years, and there are statutes like that. So I like what your former guest Shegu was saying, that there should be inventory. There should be an audit when you are going in and when you are coming out. And then it is not because there is no Your Excellency about it. If they've stolen spoon, they go in for it. If they've stolen bed sheets, they should go in for it. So they cannot. We are not very serious about it. And until we are serious about it, this thing will continue.
Thank you very much for your time and insight, Mr. Dennis Amachree. Always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.